Hi guys, I'm Addie, and today I'm going to be giving you some tips on how to read more. So, let's get started. So, once the pandemic started, I really got back into reading, and I've been able to read over 50 books a year, which for some people may not be a lot. For me, that was a lot. As a working mom, I didn't prioritize reading, and I was lucky to get through maybe like 2 or 3 novels a year, and then some of the work-related content that I was doing for my clients. But now I'm consistently able to read about a book and a half a week. Sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on what's going on in my life. But these are some tips to help you read more if you want to. Whatever you read is fine. But if you want to read more, here we go. Okay. So my first tip is to embrace audiobooks. It is not cheating, it is still reading. There are some really great narrators out there. It is a great way to get the content that you need to while still being able to do some of your tasks that you need to do. So audiobooks have really helped me enjoy doing laundry a little bit more and cleaning my house. And I'll listen to audiobooks while walking my dogs or going on walks on my own. They're a really great thing to do while you're washing the dishes. It just makes like kind of mundane tasks more enjoyable. Driving, for example, if you have a long commute, for sure embrace audiobooks. For me, it's better than podcasts because I take a long time to pick podcasts, so it's just kind of more of a time waster. So I'll just listen to audiobooks. I don't really have a commute anymore, but when I did, I got a lot of audiobooks. So embrace it. I think it's a really good resource, and I think some people think it's not really reading, but I think that's wrong. I think it is. Okay, my second tip, and it's kind of related to the audiobook, is download the audiobook apps on your phone. And here's two. They've got Hoopla and Libby. These are both free with a library card. So you just download the books and you can get free audiobooks, free ebooks on both of these. Hoopla, I think, is limited to 8 books a month, and Libby has more current books, but some you have to wait for. So you can request holds on books, and you can, request as many holds as you want, I think. So between those two, and going to the physical library, I only buy a couple books a year, so it saves me a lot of money too. So that financially, I'm not restricted on how many books I want to read. By getting free books from the library or from these apps too, I am able to DNF books, which is did not finish, which helps me move along. If there's a book that I am just not liking the writing, or it just feels off and I'm not excited to go back to it, I won't finish it. So I think that has helped me move along, because in the past I was like, I bought this book, it was $25, I'm going to finish it, even if I'm kind of suffering through it. And that really slows reading down. I mean, I remember a book taking me months to read, and then when you get back to it, you kind of forget what happened. So it's okay to not finish books. If you're not enjoying it, reading should be an enjoyable task, move on. And that will help you kind of get through. Another tip is always keep a book on you. So if you're going to the doctor, usually there's a wait. If you're waiting in, at a kid's sport and you're sitting in the car, or a dance, or some activity, leave a book in the car. Also, you can get ebooks on your phone, so that way you don't have to remember. I generally prefer physical books unless they're audio, but ebooks are great, and you always have them. And you can, that way, even, a chapter or 2 at a time really helps. When I started reading more, I made an intentional decision to not be on social media so much. It was March of 2020. So social media was not a happy place, right? It was like a time of fear for a lot of people. So every time I went to pick up my phone, I was like, let me read a chapter instead. And usually with me, one chapter leads to more. I would also pick up a book, in those times, like for us, it's like 2:00 on a Sunday, where it's like we already got all our errands done and we went out for the day and we came back and everybody's just kind of resting. I would take that time to sit in my reading chair with my dogs and just read a couple of chapters while my kids colored or played or did something else. So we have some like relaxing times throughout the day where we'll do that. So that's helped me read a lot more too. I think second to last, is to read more than one book at a time. So can this get confusing? Yes. However, If you're reading different genres, I think it's fine and you won't get confused. So for example, I will maybe listen to an audiobook that is a nonfiction book, but then I am reading a mystery. So there's no overlap, so I'm not gonna get confused. Sometimes I'm reading like 3 or 4 at a time, depending on the content, but I usually make sure that they're very different from each other so I don't get confused. And I think that this helps because, well, one, if you're doing audio, you can't always listen to audio and then you can't always do the physical, right? So you can kind of go back and forth. You can't actually do that. Sometimes with the audiobook, I'll have the physical and the audio, and I'll go back and forth. But that might be a little complicated. But if you're reading more than one book at a time, there's always something to be interested in and excited about, right? So sometimes like I'm reading a long nonfiction book and it's just not that exciting. I read a lot of books on mental health for work and they're great, but they're not page turnery, right? So sometimes you just want a good mystery or contemporary romance or whatever, sci-fi, whatever you're into, and you need something that's enjoyable. So I'll do one for kind of work, which I usually enjoy too, but they're slower paced, and then at least one for enjoyment. And then one that I don't mind doing my chores too, so it's not like a slow kind of a book. So kind of embracing those. And then my final tip is to kind of get excited about reading. So Goodreads is a great app where you can put your to be read books on, things that you want to read. So if you hear about a book, you can kind of you can track the books that you read. But how I started too was looking on YouTube on Booktube. So just searching book reviews, and I found a couple booktubers that I really had the same taste in, and I would watch usually at night when my kids went to bed. I was looking for more things to read, I wasn't really into the mood for read, but I wanted to listen about books. I would go and follow a few YouTubers. I'll link a couple below. I really like Bookslikewhoa, Mara. She's got a really intelligent take on a lot of different books, and she reads from I think almost every genre, so I really like her. And I like Noelle Gallagher too. I'll link them below. And it just got me excited. So when you hear somebody talking passionately about a book, you get excited about it and you really are interested. I think sometimes going to Barnes & Noble or a local bookstore or the library and you don't know what you want, it can be a little challenging. You don't know where to start. So I think by finding a few people that you like to follow, that can really help. And that's kind of why I wanted to talk about books on my channel too. One, not only for mental health, but also I just really enjoy reading and I like watching people review books and talk about books. That's why I'm doing this, I guess. Okay, so if you have any tips or tricks on how to read more, I would love to hear them. Please leave them in the comments below. And I think that's it. I'll see you later, guys. Bye.